year is 1600 BC. The location is the island of Crete. You are standing on a high, sun-drenched terrace overlooking a sprawling, incredibly complex labyrinth of stone and brightly painted timber. The air is warm, carrying the sharp, salty tang of the Aegean Sea, blended perfectly with the rich, heavy scent of blooming saffron and burning beeswax. This is the Palace of Knossos. It is the absolute, undisputed center of a maritime empire that spans the entire eastern Mediterranean. We call the people who live here the Minoans, named after their legendary king Minos. But their true name, just like the language they speak, is a profound, unsolved mystery. Using advanced AI trained on decades of meticulous archaeological excavations across the Aegean, the stunning, vibrant frescoes pulled from the ash of volcanic islands, and the deep, subterranean engineering of the palace itself, we have completely resurrected the first advanced civilization of Europe. We are going to explore a society that defies almost every rule of the ancient world. Imagine a sprawling, five-story palace built entirely without defensive walls, a culture where women command the highest echelons of spiritual power, and an economy so dominant that it rules the seas purely through the weight of its merchant fleets. This is 24 hours at the breathtaking zenith of the Bronze Age. The day begins at 5 a.m. The morning light filters softly through the architecture of your private quarters. You are a high administrator of the palace, a master of the sprawling, highly centralized Minoan economy. You wake up in a suite of rooms that features technology the rest of the world will not see again for thousands of years. You do not sleep in a dark, suffocating stone box. The architects of Knossos are absolute masters of environmental engineering. Your chambers are built around a light well, a vertical, open-air shaft running straight down through the multiple stories of the palace. It draws the bright Mediterranean sunlight and the cool sea breeze directly into the deepest interior rooms of the complex. You step out of bed and walk into your private washroom. You pour water into a smooth, carved stone basin, but the true miracle is beneath your feet. The palace is equipped with a vast, invisible network of perfectly fitted, tapered terracotta pipes. You pour the wastewater down a drain and it is instantly, flawlessly swept away by a complex, gravity-fed flushing system that channels the water out of the palace and down the hillside. It is a level of indoor sanitation and hydraulic mastery that is completely unparalleled in the ancient world. You dress carefully, preparing for the intense heat of the day. The Minoan elite wear garments that are spectacularly colorful and meticulously tailored. You put on a brightly dyed, woven kilt, wrapped tightly at the waist with a thick, ornate belt made of tightly coiled bronze wire and gold. The textiles of Knossos are famous across the sea, heavily embroidered with intricate geometric patterns and stylized marine life. By 7 a.m., the vast palace complex is roaring to life. Knossos is not simply a residence for a royal family. It is a massive, sprawling economic engine. It covers over 6 acres and contains more than 1,000 interlocking, confusing rooms, corridors, and staircases. It is this exact, chaotic, dizzying floor plan that will eventually inspire the Greek myth of the labyrinth and the Minotaur. You walk down a wide, paved corridor toward the West magazines. This is the true, beating heart of Minoan power. You enter a series of long, narrow, dark stone storage rooms. Lining the walls are hundreds of pithoi, massive, towering ceramic jars, some standing over 5 feet tall, heavily decorated with raised patterns of ropes and medallions. These jars are filled to the brim with the absolute wealth of the island. Millions of gallons of cold-pressed olive oil, thick honey, and sweet wine. In the floor beneath the jars are hidden, lead-lined stone cists, designed to securely hold the empire's surplus grain and precious metals. You are managing a profound system of redistribution. The local farmers bring their crops to the palace, and the palace meticulously stores, portions, and redistributes the wealth to the artisans, the sailors, and the priests. To manage this staggering volume of wealth, you rely on a tool that still frustrates the greatest minds of the modern world. You sit at a small wooden desk, holding a damp, rectangular tablet of raw clay. A scribe stands beside you, using a sharp bronze stylus to press delicate, linear symbols into the wet earth. This is Linear A. It is the official script of the Minoan administration. It is a beautiful, highly efficient syllabary used to record exact quantities of wool, figs, and bronze. But unlike the later scripts of the mainland, Linear A has never been deciphered. The words you are writing, the exact sounds of the language you speak, remain completely, silently locked in the clay. You press your intricately carved agate seal ring into the bottom of the tablet, legally certifying the inventory. You are running a multinational corporation, and your records are flawless. By 11 a.m., you leave the cool, dark magazines and travel 3 miles north to the bustling coastline. You arrive at the harbour town of Amnisos, the primary port of Knossos. The Mediterranean sun is blinding, reflecting off the brilliant blue water. This is where the grand illusion of the Minoan civilization makes perfect sense. The palace of Knossos has absolutely no defensive walls. There are no heavy stone ramparts, no moats, and no watchtowers. Why? Because the Minoans rely on the Pax Minoica, the Minoan peace. Their defensive wall is the open ocean, and their army is an invincible, swift, and completely dominant merchant navy. No foreign power dares to attack the island of Crete because the Minoan fleet controls the entire sea. You stand on the bustling docks. Ships are arriving from every corner of the known world. You see heavy Egyptian transport vessels from the Nile Delta. The Egyptians revere your people, calling you the Keftiu, the islanders in the midst of the sea. They trade massive quantities of pure, raw gold and fine papyrus in exchange for your most lucrative, highly prized export, saffron. You oversee the loading of small, carefully sealed ceramic jars. The purple crocus flower, which produces the deep red threads of saffron, is cultivated heavily in the valleys of Crete. It is the most expensive spice and dye on the planet. It is used to color the robes of foreign kings, to flavor exotic banquets, and in highly complex medicinal remedies. You trade this delicate, weightless flower for heavy ingots of raw copper from the island of Cyprus and deep blue lapis lazuli carried all the way from the mountains of Afghanistan. You are standing at the absolute center of a globalized, Bronze Age supply chain. By 3 p.m., the intense heat of the afternoon sun bathes the island, and you return to the high elevation of the palace. You walk into the central court. This is a massive, perfectly rectangular open-air plaza paved with smooth stone, acting as the exact focal point of the entire sprawling palace complex. Today, it is packed with thousands of people. The surrounding balconies, windows, and tiered stone bleachers are filled with the elite and the commoners alike. You are about to witness the most spectacular, terrifying, and deeply sacred physical display of the Minoan world, the Taurocathapsia, the bull leaping. The bull is the ultimate supreme symbol of Minoan culture, representing raw, unbridled tectonic power and the raw fertility of the earth. In the center of the court, a massive, muscular, semi-wild bull is released. A team of highly trained elite acrobats steps onto the sand. The gender dynamics of this society are entirely unique in antiquity. You watch as both young men and young women, dressed identically in tight, functional leather kilts, face the charging animal. The crowd holds its collective breath. The bull lowers its massive, deadly horns and charges at full speed. An acrobat does not use a spear or a sword. There is no bloodletting here. It is a ritual of absolute, perfect harmony between human agility and the raw, violent power of nature. The acrobat stands their ground. At the exact, flawless fraction of a second before impact, they leap into the air, reaching out and grabbing the bull's massive horns. Using the violent upward thrust of the bull's own neck, the acrobat executes a breathtaking, perfectly calculated backflip directly over the entire length of the animal's spine, landing smoothly on their feet in the dust behind the beast. The crowd erupts into a deafening roar of pure, ecstatic celebration. The skill, the timing, and the sheer, breathtaking courage required to execute this maneuver are unimaginable. You watch from the shaded balconies, deeply moved by the spectacle. It is an act of supreme devotion, proving that the Minoan people do not conquer nature through slaughter, but through elegance, intellect, and profound, daring grace. By 7 p.m., the sun begins to set, casting long, fiery shadows across the red, downward-tapering wooden columns of the palace. The intense energy of the bull leaping subsides into a deeply serious, mystical evening. You walk through a series of complex, winding corridors, entering the most sacred, intimate space in the entire palace, the throne room. The room is small, dimly lit by flickering oil lamps. The walls are covered in spectacular, vivid frescoes of majestic, reclining griffins, mythological creatures with the bodies of lions and the heads of eagles, surrounded by stylized, blooming lilies. Sitting against the wall is an elegantly carved, high-backed chair made of solid gypsum. It is the oldest known throne in Europe, but the person who sits in this throne is not a heavily armored, bearded warrior king. The spiritual authority of Knossos is deeply entwined with the feminine divine. You stand in the shadows as the high priestess enters the room. She wears a magnificent, flounced skirt with layers of brilliantly dyed fabric and a tightly fitted, open bodice that proudly exposes her chest, a traditional style symbolizing the nurturing, life-giving power of the Earth Mother. In her outstretched hands, she holds 2 living, writhing serpents. The snake is a profound symbol of rebirth and the deep, chthonic power of the underground. She performs a quiet, intense, and deeply mysterious ritual before the stone basin in the center of the room. She offers libations of pure honey and wine, chanting in the rhythmic, lost syllables of the Minoan tongue. The atmosphere is heavy, intoxicating, and completely saturated with the raw elemental power of the natural world. You bow your head, participating in a faith that does not look to the sky for thunder, but looks to the deep, fertile earth for life. By 10 p.m., the formal rituals conclude, and the elite of the palace gather on the high, open-air flat roofs of the complex for the evening banquet. The night air is cool and incredibly clear. The feast is a magnificent display of the island's maritime bounty. You are served fresh, delicately grilled octopus, sea urchins, and thick cuts of tuna, seasoned with wild sea salt and fragrant herbs gathered from the mountainsides. The wine flows continuously from beautifully painted, spout-lipped ceramic jugs called rhytons, decorated entirely with stunning, swirling depictions of dolphins, starfish, and nautiluses. You recline on wooden couches, drinking the wine and listening to the rhythmic, melodic sound of the lyre echoing across the rooftop. The conversation is light, focusing on the arrival of the next merchant fleet from the Levant, the quality of the new bronze tools, and the stunning new frescoes being painted in the East Wing. You look northward, out across the dark, vast expanse of the Aegean Sea. Far on the horizon, unseen in the night, lies the island of Thera. You do not know that deep beneath that island, an unimaginable, apocalyptic pressure is building. You do not know that in the coming decades, that volcano will erupt with a force so catastrophic, so absolutely devastating, that it will blot out the sun, send colossal tsunamis crashing into the northern shores of Crete, and completely, permanently break the spine of the Minoan maritime empire. The ash will bury the fleets. The Mycenaean warlords from the Greek mainland will eventually sail across the sea, occupying this very palace, taking your beautiful, linear script and adapting it to write their own foreign language. The name of your people will vanish into the dust, but tonight the air is perfectly still. The frescoes are bright, the olive oil jars are full, and the ships of Knossos rule the waves. You look up at the brilliantly clear canopy of stars, completely secure in the knowledge that you are standing at the absolute, untouchable peak of human civilization. History is a fragile, breathtaking tapestry woven by brilliant minds and often unraveled by the sheer, unstoppable forces of the earth. The Minoans did not leave behind empires of iron and conquest. They left behind a legacy of absolute beauty, a labyrinth of art, and a profound, elegant harmony with the sea. This video is brought to you by the Paladin Learn History app. Scan the QR code to learn more history.